Shalom, I'm Nama Ru. This is my husband, Rabbi David Ru. And we are talking about the Shmita year and the laws that apply to Jews growing food in the Holy Land, which has a special sanctified status. And it's quite a lot of information. This is my first time living in Israel during the Shmita year in the 7-year cycle. And I have a huge learning curve. I'm learning a lot very quickly. And also I'm kind of curious, like, what is like Torah law versus Rabbinic law? And is there a difference in like the strictness of the different specifics?
Well, this is a good question. In terms of Shabbos, we know that every Av Malacha, has Toldos. Every primary thing has secondary aspects to it, and both the Avos and Toldos have a Torah prohibition established to them and the same punishment for them. Meaning, it wouldn't matter whether you plant a seed, which is the Torah obligation, or you take a sapling and put it in the ground, which is a tolda, which is still a Torah obligation, but it's not the Av Malacha. However, in terms
the Av Malacha, the parent law,
right, the primary law and the secondary things. However, in terms of Shmita, it's very different. So the Gemara in Moed Katan says as follows: מכדי זמירה, בכלל זריעה. So pruning is a subcategory of planting because both are make the plant grow. ובצירה, בכלל קצירה, and harvesting grapes is a subcategory of olive harvesting. למאי כתבינהו רחמנא. For what reason does the Torah write them? Meaning, it only had to write zri'a and kצירה, and we would have known the other two. Why did it write these subcategories? למימרא, that is to say, דאהני תולדות מחייב, אאחרinietא lo מחייב. So it's telling you that on these particular primary secondary things, you're liable, and on the other secondary things, you're not liable. So Rav Kook says in Shabbos Haaretz, "Hose is kol avodos karka kula בשביעית, כדרכו, בכל השנים." If you do all of the work of the field on the Shmita year like you do all year round, on all of the other years, אף על פי שלא זרע וזמר, even though you did not plant or prune, ולא קצר ובצר, and you didn't harvest wheat or grapes, לא עשה אף מלאכה דרייסה. So it comes out you haven't done any Torah prohibition. נראה שהוא over בעשה של Torah. Nonetheless, you have transgressed a positive order of the Torah, not a negative order of the Torah, not a negative command, but a positive one. Klalos hashvisa hi mina Torah, because the entire nature of rest is from the Torah. Va'avar aleha b'kavius avar adaraisa. And so if you do this regularly, even though not one thing that you've done is from the prohibited by the Torah, the entirety of your action is a Torah prohibition. And in fact, the Ramban in his Perush on Chumash in Vayikra says a very, very similar thing concerning. He's actually talking about Yom Tovim and Shab, but in terms of the pasuk that he's talking about, but he goes farther. So in the middle of his comment on Perek Chaf Gimel, pasuk Chaf Dalet and Vayikra, the Ramban says, "V'nirali," and it appears to me, Shemidrash Hazeh, that what are we learning out of this? Lomar shnitztevinu min haTorah lios lanu menucha b'yom tov. That we are commanded to be resting on Yom Tov. Afilu midvarim she'enu malacha, even from those things that are not a malacha, are not a prohibited work. Lo sheyitrach kol hayom limdod tefua, not that we should be busy all day measuring our grain, velishkol aperos, weighing fruit, ve'amatanos, and the parts that we have to give to the kohanim, and to fill up the barrels with wine, v'lifnos hakelim, to move things around our house, v'gama avonim, sheyatriach kol hayom, that, and also the stones, mibayis lebayis, moving the place from house to house, from makom lemakom, from place to place. V'im ha'seir mukafas choma, v'daltos nulus b'layla, and if it's a city with a wall around it where the gates are closed at night, where the doors are closed at night, or any yeshuv in Eretz Yisrael, or in fact any place in Eretz Yisrael, because almost every place in Eretz Yisrael today has an eruv. You omsim ala chamorim, we pack things on our donkeys, va'af yain va'anavim v'ta'enim v'kol maseh yaviu b'yom tov, anything we wanted to bring on Yom Tov, v'yeh hashuk malei l'kol mekach u'memkar, the marketplace could be completely filled with people buying and selling, because handling money is only a rabbinic problem. And the stores can be open, mekif, and the storekeeper can keep his accounts, al shulchanam huvim lifnehem, and the bankers can be at their table with the gold in front of them. The most workers can get up and do their normal work. Umaskirin atzman kachol, and hire themselves out like they do in the weekdays. The dvarim ela v'kiyotzu b'hem. For all of these things we've mentioned and any other similar things. The hutru hayamim hatovim ha'elu, and all of this would be mutter am Yom Tov. Ve'afilu b'Shabbos atzma, and even on Shabbos. Shekol ze ein behem mishum malacha. Any of the things that I mentioned have no malacha attached to it. Lechen amra Torah Shabbosom. That's why the Torah says Shabbosom. And it says it both by Shmita and by Shabbos. She Yom Shvisa. It should be a day of rest, umenucha, and relaxation. Lo Yom Toreach. Not a day when you're busy working. V'zei Perush Tov v'yafe. And the Ramban says this is a good and beautiful explanation of it. So in the same vein, just like we are commanded on Shabbos to rest, and in fact, there's an important category in Hilchot Shabbos called uvda dachol, that's doing something in the weekday way. You're not allowed to do something in the weekday way that destroys the nature of the attitude of Shabbos. There's once a rabbi who was a scholar in residence at a hotel on Pesach, and he was really into sports. And he would go into the bar where they were playing the sports events, I don't know what it was, baseball or basketball or I don't know. I don't know what they play Pesach time. But he was spending his time there when he wasn't teaching in class. And some people asked me, I said, it's a clear violation of uvda dachol. You've made Yom Tov into a weekday. These are the things you do on weekdays, not the things you do on Shabbos and Yom Tov, when it's supposed to be dedicated toward rest, relaxation, which allows you to turn more to God. So too, Shabboson, the same word is used to describe the Shmita year. To work in your fields, do all of these things that are you're not given lashes for violating the Shmita over them, but nonetheless, the nature of Shmita cannot be observed with them. And therefore, Rav Kook is saying, the Ramban is saying, that they have a natural prohibition on them. So this is the difference between what we will call a malacha deraisa, a Torah prohibition thing that you can be punished for, and a rabbinic prohibition where you're failing to fulfill the idea of rest that the Shmita requires. All right. This is background that you need for as we go on discussing different types of agricultural things. If we say something is a derabanan, meaning it's still you're not allowed to do it, but you're not punished if you do it. And
I see a very lazy year coming up.
it's called avoda. Davening is called avoda. It's called work, because you have to put something into it. It's freeing you from these physical things so that you can use this time to concentrate on more spiritual things.
So it's a faith-building year.
It doesn't mean it's any simpler.
That's for sure. Thank you.